Welcome to another episode of Diary of a Wannabe Comedian with me, Belle, a wannabe comedian. If the sound is a little tinny today, that's because I'm sat in a room on a concrete floor. I have no floor because it's been removed because I'm having a new one fitted. Hopefully, it won't take months and months like the kitchen did. But yeah, I'm living in a building site again and I don't like it. Everything's dirty. It's horrible. But anyway, I must move on. I cannot talk about this forever because I've got a lot to talk about. I had a gig on Monday, which was Too Far Comedy, told you that, I think, run by a guy called Richard Parr, although he wasn't there, he was away, and it was a guy called Tom Belle that was the MC, host, whatever. And it was a really good gig for me, and it was a well-run gig as well. I had a really, really lovely audience. I'd like to do that gig again. Although Richard wasn't there, you can actually check him out because he's got his own YouTube, I believe. I think it's just called Richard Parr. And anyway, it was good for me because a load of students, I think they were studying locally, came in fairly late, I think 5 minutes into the show starting, and they filled up the front row and then they filled up the back row as well. So I did mine, I was in the first half, and then I went down for a drink to get a drink for my bringer essentially. And they were all standing at the bar and they all said, "You were great, you were the best." And I love it when that happens. It just makes me feel so good. And I particularly like this because they were at the front and the back. And it's like, that's really good because that means I'm reading from everywhere in the room, which is what I try and do. I felt quite comfortable, actually. I mean, I forgot a lot and ad-libbed. There was a bit I ad-libbed. I have to go back and watch the video. I've never watched myself perform, which anyone will tell you, if you want to be serious about it, you've got to analyse your performance. I haven't, but I do know I ad-libbed in this and they laughed. So I have to pluck up the courage to go and look and see what it was I said because I really can't remember now. But anyway, that was a great gig. And then what else has happened this week? Yesterday, I had an equity meeting for variety officers because I am a variety officer now. And it was the first one that I've attended. And that was good seeing all the other VOs. We're actually going to get some training. That would be even better. And the main topic appeared to be, or the one that we talked about a lot, or I felt we did anyway, was venues at risk, which is quite sad really, isn't it? You know, that it takes up so much of the meeting. But we talked about the Bethnal Green Working Men's Club, which is actually a drag and cabaret venue and has been for many, many years. And I think he gave us some stats. There's 100 people perform every week at that venue. Looks like they've sort of got a bit of a stay because the developers were going to move in and try and develop it, try and get permission to develop it. But it looks like they've got some sort of stay, but how long that lasts, who knows? And I also asked them about the RVT, which I may have mentioned was under threat because the people who owned it decided they wanted to sell it. Cutting a very long story short, that has had a reprieve, but I don't think it's an iconic venue. It really is. So many famous drag queens started there. Paul O'Grady being one of them. Paul O'Grady I've forgotten her drag persona. That's terrible. Anyway, it will come back to me. But her career pretty much started there. And it's also the venue that Freddie Mercury took Princess Diana there in disguise. So it's got a great history. But now they've sold the upstairs levels as flats. And there's two problems with that. One means drag queens have to arrive at the venue in drag. And I don't know what it's like anywhere else in the world, but in London, in this country, drag queens are being attacked at the moment. So it's not safe to be going on the tube all dragged up. It's much better to be able to go there and then change out of your kit and go home. But, it is what it is. But the other thing is, if they have made them into flats, people will move into these flats. They will buy these flats. They will move into these flats. And then how long is it going to be before they start complaining about noise? I mean, it's just, yeah. So I don't think, although technically they've had a reprieve, I don't think they're long for this world. And then today and tomorrow, in fact, I've been at an animation event at the Barbican. Now, I didn't stay very long today because I needed to come back and see what I was going to be facing with the floor, but that's another issue. I did watch two guys talk. The first one was the guy that brought us Ultraman Rising. Now, I went to see this movie a few months ago and I talked about how, I'm pretty sure I did. If I didn't, I should have done, but I'm pretty sure I talked about how the graphics were amazing and I couldn't put my finger on what they'd done that made it so rich and just lovely. And now I know they were aiming to get a Copic markers, which, because it's a manga-based film, they were trying to get Copic marker look. And then they've got ink lines, and he showed how they built this up, and it's like, yeah, that's why it really works for me. It's just amazing. If you haven't seen it, it's worth a watch. I mean, I'm not a manga fan at all. I only go and see things because I don't pay, because I have an annual pass, can see as many movies as I want. That's why I went to see it. But actually, I did quite enjoy it. And the other guy that came and spoke to us was a guy from Man vs. Machine. And I was very excited about this company because they do a cross between animation and graphic design. And their stuff is out of this world, some of it. They've done work for all the top names, Nike, Apple, BBC, you name it, all the big names. And I was very excited about this organisation. And then I saw a note at the bottom that said that they're a subsidiary of WPP. WPP is a massive media company. And I had an interview with them many, many years ago. And it was I had two really good interviews, brilliant. It was kind of a slam dunk. And then it was the final interview with this horrible woman who just, for whatever reason, took an instant dislike to me, to the point I could feel her hatred. The interview was about 20 minutes. That's how long she gave me before she kicked me out. She was just awful. So as a consequence, I don't like WPP. So I was a bit disappointed by that because I thought, maybe that would be a company to approach. But no, definitely not. So that's that. My goodness, this has been a long podcast. I do apologise. I will see you Monday for a shorter one. Much love and gratitude.